How's it going, everybody? We just wrapped up a great day out here on Toledo Bend, you know, kind of going in that fall transition, but there's still fish schooled up out deep. And I just want to go over my rotation of baits that I like to go through when I do find those schools of fish. Number one, if it's early morning, late evening, when those fish are the most active, I'm picking up a deep diving crankbait. This is my favorite way to catch a bass out of a school, but they have to be active. They have to be, you know, really chasing bait. And you can kind of, you know, I utilize my live scope to kind of tell me that if I'm seeing some schools of shad kind of come in and those schools of fish come up on those shad, I know I can probably throw a crankbait in there and get that reaction strike. Second thing that I love to throw, you know, maybe it's later in the day or when they get done biting the crankbait and they kind of get smart to that, is a big stand-up worm. This is more of a mag finesse style worm, but this is a slower presentation, but still a big profile to hopefully get a bigger bite. But this is something I'm dragging along the bottom real slow for, you know, for that afternoon bite. Number three, it's got to be a Carolina rig. You know, a Carolina rig, the old ball and chain, is a fish catching machine, and it's one of those baits that it gets a lot of bites for me, and it also catches some good fish for me as well. You know, almost always I go with a 3/4 ounce weight. I like about a 2 foot, 2.5 foot leader, maybe even a 3 foot leader. A soft plastic jerk bait is always good, or some type of creature bait, little craw bait can also be very productive as well. Number four, gotta be a football jig. When the sun is up, you know, those fish are not quite as chasing as much. This is something that I'm gonna drag on the bottom real slow again. You know, like a little crawl trailer. You know, color of my jig may vary depending on watercolor, you know, but anything green pumpkin or a black and blue, that's, you know, that's kind of the mix that I have on right now. But a football jig, you better have one tied on if you're gonna fish a deep school. And last but not least, the good old drop shot. After I've thrown everything that I just talked about, and I'm looking for 1 or 2 more bites out of that school, I pick up the drop shot, because the drop shot is a bite getting bait. It's just plain and simple. When the bite's really tough and I can't get a bite on anything that I mentioned earlier, this is something that is going to get a bite. And if you don't get a bite on this, you might as well go to the house, because they just aren't going to bite. It is the wacky worm of the deep, you know, but color is, it's pretty much keep it simple. Morning dawn is my favorite, and you can fish this from 5 foot to 50 foot and everywhere in between. And that's my setup, that's my rotations. But those 5 baits are always on the deck no matter what when I'm out here graphing, looking for those big schools on Toledo Bend. I hope this allows you to catch more fish, and we'll see y'all.